here's a story that no one's talking about. Amy Coney Barrett, of course, about to be sat on the Supreme Court, filling the vacant seat left by the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The filibuster has ended in the Senate. So maybe even by the time you're watching this, if you're watching this on the replay, she will now be an official Supreme Court justice, the 9th seat on the Supreme Court filled. And one thing that no one's covering is the fact a certain number of cases that she'll be taking up as she becomes Supreme Court justice. And it's now been confirmed that she will, in fact, be able to sit and hear a case that would boost the fossil fuel group that her father helped lead. The Intercept doing some great reporting on this. And David Sirota, who's been really a champion of this. I mean, he's been a fantastic reporter. Love his work. And he basically says, if confirmed, Judge Amy Coney Barrett could decide the fate of a major pipeline case pushed by the fossil fuel lobby. If you care about fossil fuels in a pipeline coming through your backyard, and you care that you live in, the state of Pennsylvania, which will stand up for you, or they won't because they allow fracking, or if you live in a state that really cares about the environment, does not want a pipeline coming through your backyard, does not want a pipeline coming through their state, put it in Wyoming, put it somewhere else. We don't want it here. And that's why you live in that state. You're like, yeah, I love Texas. I love Kansas because they'll stand up for people. Well, that's about to go out the window. Because the lobbying effort right now by the lobbying organization where her father served as a top official, the case could limit states' power overall to halt fossil fuel projects precisely at the moment when climate scientists say that this could render large swaths of the United States uninhabitable in our lifetime. Just imagine for a second if, you just got a pipe, okay? We just got a pipe, and that pipeline is running all the way through your property, all the way through your state, all the way through your community. Now, imagine for a moment the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, BP's, disaster, and that gushing camera. I mean, I was on the air. I was reporting that at the time, and we just literally had a camera set up on that BP camera, which they'll never do again, by the way. We're not going to put a camera down there so we can have a live feed of billions of gallons of oil pouring into the Gulf of Mexico, destroying it. And they were quick, it's back to normal. I remember TV commercials run by BP like, hey, we had a little bit of a difficulty here. Our shrimp were bad for a short amount of time, but we're back. Shows all these fishermen like, come on down, try our seafood. Yeah, you going down there to eat that shrimp? Help you. God help you. Killed upwards of 1 million dolphins, by the way. Trillions of oysters. So imagine for a second, you have this, you don't think anything could happen to a pipe? I don't care how secure you think it is. We just arrested, how many people did we just arrest trying to assassinate a governor? You don't think some of these clowns, if they wanted to, could drive out somewhere with a white van, park it next to one of these pipelines, and destroy an entire community as this oil pours into the groundwater and destroys an entire community? Yeah, you don't think that could happen? People who say that are stupid. That can't happen. Just like when what's her name, Sarah Palin, was pushing Obama to do deep water drilling. Dig, baby, dig. Remember her saying that at the convention? Dig, baby, dig. And when their environmentalists were saying, we don't know, these studies on these deep water drilling facilities, we don't know. We don't have enough data. And she said, no, they've been vetted inside and out. These are safe. Drill, baby, drill. So we drill and we destroy the Gulf of Mexico. Look at the Exxon Valdez in Alaska, by the way. Still not recovered. Destroyed the wetlands there because of the Exxon Valdez. So what is Amy Coney Barrett going to be able to do? Well, this case would limit the state's power to halt fossil fuel projects. It would have come down to the federal level. So the federal government wants to put a pipeline right through Kansas, right through Wyoming, right through Pennsylvania. States can't do anything. Barrett, of course, Judge Barrett, has repeatedly refused to acknowledge anything about climate science. I mean, even during her hearing, this was one of the most telling moments during her hearing about when she was asked about climate science, that she had no real feelings on it. What? You have no feelings on it? What does that mean? So right now, a lower court judge, when she was a lower court judge, she recused herself from this case because of a conflict of interest. Yeah, because Daddy worked there for Shell Oil, where her father worked as a top attorney. She's not commenting on it. She's not talking about it. She's like, I'm not going to commit. I'm not saying I'm going to be taken off of any future oil cases. And by the way, when we talk about the Supreme Court, I've mentioned this before, everyone wants to talk about these cultural issues, right? They want to talk about Roe v. Wade. No. The reason conservatives want an Amy Coney Barrett on the case is because overwhelmingly the number of cases they see, 70% of the cases in the Supreme Court are big business versus people, big business versus workers. And they always want to be able to support the big business. You don't think that, Mitch McConnell, who's been bought and paid for by big oil and big energy, of course he wants her on the Supreme Court. Oh, Shell Oil is up against, it has, there's a big question as to whether or not Shell Oil will be able to get this pipeline put through. Yeah, I want her in place for that. Let's get her on the bench so that when this comes up in front of the Supreme Court, she'll be able to vote in favor of this. So she's not going to recuse herself? No. So this will likely be one of the very first cases that she hears. This API, which is a top fossil fuel lobbying group in Washington, filed a brief backing the case. They criticize the lower court ruling because they, quote, says it allows states a unilateral and unconstrained veto subject to their sole discretion over federally approved interstate pipeline projects. So the federal government says, yeah, you can build a pipeline from Canada down through Louisiana. And Louisiana's like, no, we don't want it. They could do that before. They could say, we don't want it, and the pipeline would stop. Now they have no recourse if this passes. So again, Barrett declined to comment on recusing herself from this. She only said basically that she would consult with other justices and declaring that, quote, it would not be appropriate for me to offer an opinion on abstract legal issues or hypotheticals. That's what she said during the hearing. I'll consult with my other justices. So these justices will decide whether to hear the case. And they're waiting on input from the Trump administration on whether to hear the case. So rushing through, you don't think trying to fight this, trying to keep, trying to stop this before Election Day is needed? Democrats just caved on this. Democrats who have no backbone at all just caved on this in the Senate. Filibuster is done. And by the time you're watching this, she'll likely be a sitting justice of the Supreme Court. So just get ready for more of this stuff. You want to see workers' rights eroded even more in this country? It's about to happen. So when people want to tell you the Supreme Court's all about Roe v. Wade and abortion, it's not. It's about these stories. But they're trying to distract you with it. This is how they get these people placed. Because I tell you what, if you would have seen a television commercial that said, you need to, we encourage the Supreme Court, the swift nomination of Amy Coney Barrett, because she will always protect big business. That commercial's not going to work. That commercial is not going to go anywhere. But if you do have a commercial that says Amy Coney Barrett, she's pro-life and she will always support the sanctity of life. Oh, okay, yeah, we got to get her on that Supreme Court. But why don't you tell the truth to the American people? Because the truth is that almost every case she's going to hear is going to be like one of these. Big business running rampant over you. And no one's talking about it. No one's covering it. And the Democrats, totally miss and drop the ball on how to argue this point. Talking about a woman's right to choose, yes, incredibly important. And that yes is on this, it is on the ticket, it is on the ballot, it is part of the Supreme Court nomination, but they're missing the ball. They're dropping the ball every time because they get pulled into that kind of an argument for these justices. It's not. It's about big business running roughshod over the American people. And guess what? These big businesses pay all of these Democrats for their campaigns. All the oil lobby, the energy lobby, they're all making money from it. So if you're sitting back home wondering, why are we ramming this through? Don't Democrats have a backbone? They don't, because there's somebody that pays their salary. That's how it works. That's how they get reelected. It's disgusting.